From the bright lights of New York City straight to your living room, the Octagon takes center stage. V-Chain UFC 322 brings Islam Makhachev versus Jack Del Maddalena in a clash of champions. And DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC, puts every kick, clinch, and finish in the palm of your hand. New customers, turn $5 into $300 instantly if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the code SONNEN. Stay in on the action and use your bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Love the thrill of live betting? Bet live on star, player props, and in-progress games right as they happen. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. New customers turn $5 into $300 instantly in bonus bets if your pick wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. All right, guys, I think we got to call this an amendment. So, Joshua versus Paul. Done, right? Isn't that what we were all told? And I had reached out to Jake directly. But he didn't get back to me. I did get a response, but it was like, you know the response where somebody's like buying some time, or they just want to acknowledge, like they give you a receipt. I'm in receipt of your text message. They can give you an emoji or something like this, or sometimes there's even the automatic. I'm trying to remember what I got, but you can get like the automatic, I'll call you later. You know those? So even though I had said, hey, I'm looking for a confirmation of this fight, and he did respond, as I reflect back on that, it's like, well, he didn't respond confirming the fight. So who did confirm the fight? So I went to Helwani, and Helwani thought that it was confirmed, but he was a little lighter in the language than what I thought I remember hearing. And there's a number of boxing guys just saying, hey, that's not going to happen. And they had a few details, one of which was being Florida. And the Florida Commission would probably be open to something like this, particularly under the clause of exhibition, and then we'd all have to kind of hear, well, what are those rules and what are those stipulations? But that's reasonable to work with. But we haven't been able to get a confirmation from the Florida Commission, and now we're actually getting boxing guys on the inner circle. We're hearing from some British guys, from some fellow comrades to Joshua that said he wouldn't do that fight. He just wouldn't do that fight. That people would lose respect for him. That he has carried British boxing. This was one guy talking, but the guy said that Joshua has carried British boxing for 2 decades. And that while carrying British boxing on his back, if he was to go over and do a spoof fight against a YouTuber, now I don't look at Jake Paul that way. I look at him as a badass. I understand how greatly he is outmatched. I understand the lack of experience in comparison to Joshua. Believe me, I get it. But I don't dismiss him as a YouTuber, right? Look at him as a guy that went to the distance with Tommy Fury, not for nothing. So, when I'm listening to this gentleman talk, it does make me think, hey, where can I get this confirmed? Is this not confirmed? How exactly did these reports get out? How did they make it this far? And that is something I don't know the answer to. Generally in this business where there's smoke, there's fire. And when you get a rumor, the rumor gets corrected very quickly if it's not true. If it is true, it never gets addressed at all, and then you have the press conference and the big reveal. But, so with that in mind, Joshua's team and Joshua have not denied these claims. Paul and his team, while not confirming them, at least not confirming them to me, haven't denied them anywhere. And the Florida State Athletic Commission has not said one way or the other. So what do we make of that? What do we make of that? I'm confident in telling you guys on a final analysis that we don't have a fight in terms of bout agreements, signed contracts. I do think that we have a fight in principle. I do think that Joshua and Jake have agreed to come to an agreement, right? And you can enter into a negotiation in what's just known as good faith, which is, hey, we don't have a deal, but I'm reasonable, you're reasonable, we're going to get this worked out, and because of that, then we do have a deal. We have a deal to make a deal. And I think that that's the spot we're in, but that's a very different spot than having a fight that's done, particularly when you factor in Francis Ngannou. In many ways, Francis is the better opponent. Francis is the preferable opponent. Just because in our minds, we could see a path for Jake. We could. Touch him, moves, you can make a case. Joshua, you have not only one of the best heavyweights ever, one of the best amateurs ever. You have a very different story. You have an entertainment spectacle that will satisfy the bloodthirst to the anti-Jake Paul crowd. It works. Francis works better. I do believe that. And the only reason I take the time to mention that is that if Paul and Joshua is not done, there is room for Francis to rethink his position.